It's the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life.
A mother's grief at losing her son. This is 22-year-old Jared Madgwick in happier times, but his world came crashing down when he faced problems with Centrelink's robo-debt system.
The system's all wrong. They're hurting the people that need these services.
It began when Jared unsuccessfully applied for a New Start allowance. Hours before his death, his mum, Kath, says he called Centrelink to find out why his application had been denied.
And he come to me and he was really upset and said, they've rejected my claim. And I said, all right, Jared, we'll call them in the morning.
Kath maintains it wasn't until Jared logged into his MyGov account later that day he discovered he owed $2,000.
That's enough to put so much stress on already vulnerable people that are in a bad situation.
The single mum says hours later Jared left his house and never returned. Kath said her son had recently moved back home after he quit his job because of workplace bullying. She also told The Current Affair her 22-year-old was struggling to find work and had also recently broken up with his girlfriend.
And when the robo-debts come, I believe that's just the straw that's broke the camel's back. It put him in a place that, in a moment of time, that he wasn't thinking. He just couldn't see a way out.
Now, just 10 weeks on after her son's death, Kath is campaigning for a complete overhaul to the robo-debt system.
I'll never get over it, but I just feel that there needs to be change.
Governments need to treat people with respect. This government, through its robo system, isn't doing that.
Joining Kath's campaign is federal opposition leader Anthony Albanese. He says the controversial automated robo-debt system is failing many people.
It's failing by generating letters that effectively come as debt notices and threats to people. That is causing a great deal of distress.
Since July 2015, there has been 850,000 Centrelink compliance reviews finalised. Of those, 1 in 5 successfully disputed the discrepancy notice, meaning no debt was raised. But that begs the question, how is this robo-debt calculated? Using an automated system, the technology detects possible overpayments in differences between a person's ATO data and what they reported to Centrelink. But as the system averages out people's income, many people say it's unfair.
Single mum Lisa Hepplewhite is challenging her debt notice she received just before Christmas last year.
I got a letter in the mail, opened it up, and it showed that I had about a $6,000 debt owing from 6 years ago.
She claims the debt incurred from her parenting payment is incorrect.
I know that every fortnight I was on that website putting in my hours for fear that this type of thing would happen.
Lisa says Centrelink has previously been taking money out of her payments in between the appeal periods. She says they have also taken an extra $1,500 out of her tax return this year, placing her under huge financial pressure while trying to raise her 2 boys.
I don't feel secure. I never know that I'm going to have enough money at the end of a fortnight. I don't know how many times I've cried because of Centrelink.
It's creating real distress with a real impact on real people and their families.
Taking on Centrelink in a fight for justice is Victoria Legal Aid. There are currently 2 test cases running in the federal court. So far, the Department of Human Services has wiped a $4,000 debt from a Melbourne nurse as part of the court case.
We say, in fact, that vast numbers of debts raised by this process are wrong and are unlawfully raised.
Lawyer Joel Townsend says the court proceedings are not only challenging the debts owed, but also the legality of robo-debt.
If the court says no, it wasn't lawful, then we think that there are implications for the whole of this robo-debt system.
But what should you do if you think your Centrelink debt is incorrect?
And if they are sure that a debt is wrongly calculated against them, they should go to Centrelink and ask for a review.
As well as launching legal action against Centrelink, a second parliamentary inquiry into the debt recovery system has been outlined. Rachel Seward is the Community Affairs spokesperson for the Greens.
So we really need to shine a light on this and build the pressure on the government to have a system that catches those that are deliberately defrauding the system.
The senator chaired the previous inquiry but says the government has ignored all calls to suspend the program.
The government did not implement all the recommendations from the inquiry. The program's ramped up, more and more people are being affected.
There needs to be a system which takes into account the fact they're dealing often with very vulnerable people.
People who are in need of help and support, like Jared.
What we're going through now has to be heard and make a change.
But when pressed on Jared and Kath's situation, Hank Jongen, the General Manager of the Department of Human Services, says,
Of course, my heart goes out to the situation that this mother finds herself in. And I'm not going to add to her distress by commenting on this particular case.
It comes after whistleblowers claimed of target-driven tactics at Centrelink that put staff under pressure to claw back welfare debts. This photo from inside one of Centrelink's debt recovery offices shows a whiteboard outlining how many debts staff had raised and how long it took them to do it.
The instructions were that we were to do everything possible to accelerate the process in debt raising.
If you weren't meeting your targets, you were put on performance review.
We absolutely refute the claims that our staff have to meet either financial targets or certain numbers of reviews over the course of the week.
The question remains whether robo-debt is fair or not, but there is a growing number of Australians who feel the system needs a complete overhaul.
I know there's people that rot the system, but there's genuine people and they need to treat people as people and not numbers.